So now in this video for the Advanced Algebra Final Exam Review, I'm going over the last questions, numbers 30 to 40 in this video. So starting with number 30, a student solved this radical equation and got the solutions -8 and 7. What was the error made though by the student? Well, first off, I would go ahead and we could either solve this or even graph this in Desmos, check to see if both are even a solution, because if they are, then no error was made. So again, remember, right? Graph the left side, which is just x, and then graph the right side. So again, looking like this, right? Just x, and then the radical 56 minus x. So notice when graphing, they only cross one time. So there's actually only one solution. The one solution is x is equal to 7, which means -8 is extraneous and 7 is only the solution, or is the only solution. So now 31, you're looking to see which is true. Well, first, just like before, right? You're solving the exponential, you got to get it by itself. So divide by 2. So really you have 5 to the x is equal to 25. So now here, write this if you need to as a log. So this is log base 5 of 25, which is equal to x. So again, the base bottom. That's why the answer is 3 and not 5. Then you could set this up, right? Change of base. So this is log of 25 divided by log of 5, right? Because again, base bottom. That's why the answer here is 6 and not 2. Then put that in the calculator and you get x is equal to 2, not 5. So now question 32. This is a compound continuously problem. So compounding continuously means we have E. So this is our PERT formula, where A is equal to our principal, then E, but raised to the rate times time power. We are starting with an initial investment of 6,500. So we do have our P here. So 6,500 times E to the, what is our rate? 2.5%, but remember, right, divide that by 100. So that's why we have 0.025. Then we multiply that to our T, our time. Well, if we're in 2010 invested, and what is the account balance in 2016? That's why you have times 6, because 6 years have passed. And now what is the account balance? And when you put this in the calculator, you should get that that account balance is approximately $7,551.92. So now in question 33, you are given this function that represents this relationship between A, the amount of medicine, and T, time in days. How many days? So we're looking for T. Notice how the 5 grams, that's your medicine, that is your A. So we are solving 5 is equal to 20 times E to the -0.8 T power in solving for T. So again, if you wanted to graph this in Desmos, you can. So you could type, remember, right? You have to put not just 5, but Y is equal to 5. Then put 20E to the -0.8, but not T, right? Because it's in Desmos, you're going to put X. So it could look something like this. So again, right, Y is equal to 5, so you get your straight line. Then 20E to the -0.8 X, so that you can graph this in Desmos. So now notice, here you've got, the graphs are crossing at the X value of about 1.733. So let's see if that is the amount of days that we get here if we were to solve this algebraically. So first here, right, remember we're solving our exponential, but you have to get it by itself. So we would divide by 20. So now you've got 0.25 here is equal to E to the -0.8T. So now remember, right, when you had E, what was the opposite of E? ln. So you're going to take the natural log of both sides. So now that you've got the natural log here, and this cancels out. So basically you've got the natural log of 0.25, right, is equal to negative 0.8t. And then divide by negative 0.8. And you do get approximately 1.733. So now 34. This is going back to, again, looking to see which expression. And again, we're compounding monthly. So that means your n value is 12. So that means we have to have that fraction, right? So I'm going to go ahead and cross out A. You also have to make sure to convert your percent to a decimal, right? So that's not just 6, but 6 divided by 100, which is 0.06. So that's why I'm going to cross out B. Then you also have to remember that outside you have the exponent, not just raised to the 5th power, but you have to multiply that by the n value as well, which is 12. That's why the exponent should be 60, and that's why the answer is D. So now 35. You're given this situation where the volume starting at 1200 and doubling. So that is your exponential. That's why the answer is A. Then you're going to use that equation to calculate after 8 years what is the volume. So your T, your time is 8. So this is 1200. So 1200 times 2, now to the T power or to the 8th power. And you get that the volume is going to be 307,200 cubic centimeters of coral. So now here in 36, we're looking again to see how we would set this up. Now here I've got our value of land is increasing, so this is growth. So I can cross out D because my base is less than 1. So now here we have to keep in mind that our time in years is 40. So our exponent should be 40. So I'm going to cross out C because they have it flipped. So now remember, we always take inside the parentheses, it's 1 plus your percentage. Well, 5%. 5 out of 100 is 0.05. That's why the answer is B. Then 37. You're using this exponential here to identify which expression represents solving for T. But first you have to get this by itself and divide by 7. So you have y divided by 7 is equal to 2 to the T over 30 power. Now write it as a log. So this is log base 2 of y divided by 7 is equal to T divided by 30. Now, you're dividing by 30, so what do you need to do? Multiply by 30. That's why the answer here is A. So now last is focusing on the graphs of our log and exponential. So like here, this is our log, and notice how you have the vertical asymptote, right? Here at x is equal to 3, because notice how it's crossing here at 3. So your vertical asymptote is at 3, no horizontal. Now the x-intercept is crossing here at 4, not at 3. Then as the x values are approaching infinity, as we're going to the right, the graph is going up to infinity. As we're going to negative infinity, oh, but we're not, right? Our x values approach 3. So that's why E is not an answer. So now the domain, oh, I just realized, sorry, that was only supposed to be 3 attributes. So here now we have to remember what is all reals. Well, if the graph is constantly going up and down, the range is all real. So that's why it's these 3 solutions. So now 39, we're looking at an exponential. So here, the y-intercept is crossing, notice the increment is crossing here at 3. The x-intercept, well, the x-intercept is crossing here at 1, not 2. The asymptote is here at y is equal to -1. So C is our answer. So now with the exponential, what is all reals? Constantly going left and right, the domain. Then here, the f of x values are positive for all x values less than 1. So starting at 1 and less than. Are these values all positive? Yes. Notice how it's above. So f is a solution. Then as x increases, as we're going to the right, what is f of x approaching? -1. So this answer is also, D is also an answer as well. So then really 40 is just focusing on now identifying domain and range of the exponential and log, but now focusing on that interval or that set notation here. So here we go. So again, our log, identify the asymptote. Our asymptote is here at x is equal to 4. Notice how the graph is constantly going up and down, which means the range is all real. So I'm going to cross out B and E and C because the domain is what's cut off, right? So now here our domain is, well, we are going on into negative infinity, but then we're approaching 4. Do we ever reach 4? No. Because we never reach it, we don't include it. That's why the answer is B. Notice how, remember, right, we can never include infinity or negative infinity. Same thing, it never reaches 4, so that's why we need parentheses here. That's why the answer is B. So then our exponential function. Here our asymptote is at y is equal to -2. So notice how our graph is constantly going left and right. So now the domain is all reals, so not the range. So here our range values, our y values start at -2 and go up to infinity. But do we ever reach -2? No, because that's the asymptote. That's why the answer is D, because we need the parentheses because we're not including it. The here, just like our infinity. That's why it is C and D.